Hello and welcome to the Reinvent Your Reality Podcast. I'm your host, Jen Palko. Welcome to episode 10 of season 3 of this podcast, where today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about human anomalies, little ironies that we as human beings have. I think this might make for a kind of fun conversation. We'll see. But hope you're doing well. Thanks for listening in. I really, really appreciate it. And So what exactly is an anomaly? It's basically something in life that doesn't fit a pattern. It's an exception to the rule. It's like, the English language, we have a lot of, for example, exceptions to the rules, like I before E except after C and all these weird things. And it's like, who came up with that? What is that about? Like, why? Does it really make a big difference in anybody's world? I mean, if you know the answer to that, and maybe it's something deeper that I don't know, please inform me, educate me, because sometimes stuff just doesn't make sense. So we're going to talk about things that just don't make sense. And the first one that I really wanted to touch upon, and this is something that you and everybody's going to relate to, is hustle culture in society. Hustle culture. And okay, how is this an anomaly? How is this not fit the script or the pattern? Well, it's more the irony of that we as human beings are constantly trying to slow down the aging process and slow down time in a sort of way. But we're shooting ourselves in the foot at the same time, because with hustle culture and this being such an accepted thing and us feeling like we need to, we're always in a race, right? The race for freedom, the race for justice, the race against time, the race to success. And it's always putting us in state of anxiety. And we wonder why so many people have anxiety, right? It's this culture we're in. But at the same time, we have this other side of us that's always like not wanting to age, not wanting to rush time. So this is one of those things that just doesn't make sense for us. And I wanted to talk about it a little bit today because, everybody, including Gary Vee, is like, oh, you got to hustle, you got to do to get ahead, to succeed. And where did this mindset come from? I just want to know, like, who made this up? Because it's awful. It is awful because some people thrive on a fast-paced environment or workplace. Life, right? It gives excitement, it shocks the heart, but other people do not. And then those people who are just constitutionally maybe a little slower paced feel like there's something wrong with them. They can't keep up. Well, it's not that you can't keep up. It's like, it's not designed for, like, society is not designed for everybody, right? We're always trying to fit everybody in a box. And there's some, unconscious perceptions that we have about hustling, and it's like we can't possibly get it, in quotations, it all done. We'll fall behind. And then what? We need to keep up with the world and with others. With the media, whatever. We're lazy if we're slow and relaxed and do things at a nice, easy pace. We can't make a living being slow. Slow is annoying. We ain't got time for that. Slow makes me actually face myself. Ooh, that's the one that maybe hit the nail on the head. Is it that we're hustling for some sort of reason? Are we actually running away from something? I mean, we're running toward things, running against things, but is it a way to distract ourselves in life? Perhaps. We see mental illness is really prevalent right now. You got to ask yourself why. Everybody's on drugs. Prescription drugs for depression and anxiety. And I always ask, why? What is the underlying thing? Well, our society is not set up for everybody to be happy, because it's set up for only those small few that say, this is the way it's got to be, Gary Vee, this is the way it's got to be. Everybody's, got to keep up with me. No, not everybody can. And that's okay. So I just want to say that if you're slower paced, it's cool. It's cool. because we're shooting ourselves in the foot. We're actually speeding up our perception of time by always rushing, by always hustling, by always living in the future. But if we live in the present, we're going to slow time down. See, time is a funny thing. Time is a very funny thing. And I just wanted to, I did another podcast on time a while ago, but I also wanted to bring up, which leads me to another great human anomaly, desensitization, and with that related to time. So time, it's almost like time dulls emotions, right? Do you ever have a big fight or blow up with your significant other and time just kind of soothes things along? How does that work? How does that work with our body? It's like in the moment, we're so impulsive. Everything, all the energy rises up in us. We're angry and all this outburst of emotion. But as time goes on, things kind of dull out and they just kind of ease up. Right? You ever notice that? But it's also this idea of desensitization that, when something happens in life, either in your personal life or say a natural disaster or some kind of chaotic thing out in the world, at first it's very, very emotional. But as time goes on, it's almost like it never happened. Right? Look at something like, COVID right now. At the height of it, it was, it definitely hit our emotions harder than it does now, or something like 9/11. Sure, we still think about it, but it's not as raw and tender than in the moment because we were experiencing it a little bit more. So that's the difference here. We watch a lot of movies, right? We watch a lot of action movies, horror movies, all kinds of stuff where basically gory movies, disasters happen, murders happen. But it's almost like when we read about stuff or we just hear about it, but we don't experience it, it's not the same. It's almost like we're just still watching a movie. It's kind of like, I'll bring up COVID again. It's the difference between a nurse who was working at the height of COVID in hospitals actually experiencing the death of all her patients or his patients versus somebody reading about it in the media and those folks who still believe it's a hoax, right? It's not real. Well, it's not real because you didn't experience either a really horrible illness or somebody close to you dying necessarily. So that's one of the things in the human mind that's always fascinating to me is that we're so desensitized by stuff. Time desensitizes us, but also if we're not experiencing something, it desensitizes us. If we see too much of it, we watch so many movies of it, it's just like in our brain, it's still, even if it's happening in real life, if it's not actually happening to us, it's still like we feel like we're watching a movie and it does something to our emotions. Okay. So it's an interesting thing. Okay. The third thing I wanted to bring up, and this is a good one too, the great anomaly of life. Life in general. So here's the thing. We, as human beings, know that there's a moon, there's a sun, there's stars out there. There's more than just Earth, right? There's other planets. You can go to outer space. There's space. Ooh, that's exciting. Space, NASA. Elon Musk, SpaceX. Bleh. Anyway, okay, we can acknowledge that. Science has proved it in physics and all these things. Yet at the same time, we as human beings often do not acknowledge things like energy in our body, energy around us. It's almost like we're open to it, yet we're not. We're closed to it. Why is that? That's ironic, don't you think? You think that if we would be open, we know, okay, there's other planets, there's like other galaxies, there's like an infinite number of whatever out there beyond us. Yet it's almost like it feels more comfortable to be in my little bubble. It's just fear, you think? This is the other thing. The fear of there being aliens or other life out there. Oh my God. Well, don't you think it's actually more scary that thinking that we as human beings are all alone, that we are the only ones in this grand universe scheme of like everything? Isn't that a little more freaking scary than thinking there's other life out there? Just saying. Just to kind of make you think about it a little bit. So yeah, we're open, yet we're not open to a lot of stuff. And the ego is always going to try to separate us, and we can't help it. Our brain just does that. But a lot of people don't believe in holistic medicine or things like Reiki and acupuncture is what I do, because they can't. Again, this goes back to that experiencing thing. I can't see it. I can't experience it with my senses. So how do I know? I mean, it's not real, right? I think ghosts are fake. I've never seen one on TV, but that's all BS, right? Gotta ask yourself why. Maybe you're associating something like energy or thinking beyond just your human form. Maybe you're associating that with religion. Maybe you left a bad taste in your mouth. But really, it has nothing to do with religion, because religion is man-made. It has to do maybe judgment from other people. All right, my friends they're going to think I'm crazy, so I am just going to deny, right? So I'm going to remain ignorant. Or what's the point? What's the point in questioning things? Is there a point? I'm happy. I'm cool. Or we're just used to how things are. We're used to how things are, and we don't like change. I don't want to think about it. I don't want to experience it. So it's a funny thing. We are funny, okay? So just want to bring that up, okay? Desensitization. Let's see what else I got here. Number 4, self-care. Self-care is super important, but I ain't got time for that. Who has time for that? That's selfish, right? That's fun. Self-care. We're being lazy if we're not hustling, right? Yeah, it goes back to that. It's all tied together. Most people, though, they're either overdoing it or underdoing it. So we have to find that balance in life between over and under. We're always one extreme or the other. We're all like all out. I need to stress myself out, constant fight or flight, or we're just like, I give up and I'm just gonna sit in a pool of my own blobbiness here. Where is that balance? How do we find that? How do we find our own pace in a world that's trying to set the pace for us? That's the question we should be asking ourselves. Just because people are telling you to move a certain way, to look a certain way, to be a certain way, doesn't mean you have to listen to them, damn it. Right? You are your own person. You feel in your body what's right for you. I'm not saying do nothing, and I'm not saying do it all. Do what's right for you, what feels good to you. Okay? That's all I'm saying. So, we have this thing with, there's a lot of products out there, there's a lot of gurus out there who are telling you how to love yourself, how to take care of yourself. And I've touched on this before in videos and podcasts. But then, the underlying default mechanism of society is like, well, you can't do that. You don't have time for that. You can't do that. Just think about that, okay? So a lot of these perceptions or a lot of these rules in society, where did they come from? Okay, how were they handed down? Well, they were made by somebody or something, right? But it's not, it's just like a man-made thing. I'm just saying, okay? And then the last human anomaly. Why do we, more in America, okay, this doesn't account for other countries most of the time, but in America, why do we drink ice water in the winter? It's so bad for your digestion. But anyway, to each their own. But we do it because we're conditioned, because somebody just hands you a glass of ice water and you got to drink it. and it's 20 degrees outside, and then you're freezing and wondering why. You're have diarrhea and you're wondering why. Okay, so there's a lot of things in life that don't make sense. There's a lot of exceptions to the rules. But I could say, you can be an exception to society's rules in your own life. I just want to empower you to think about that for a second. Okay. The things that you do, the situations you're in, maybe the career you're in, the relationship you're in. Is it right for you? Is it true to you? Or is it a result of others telling you what to do, or your fear of judgment, or ignorance, maybe? I don't know. But anyway, just some food for thought today. If you have any more ironies, let me know. I'm sure there's a lot out there, but these are the big ones that I wanted to touch on, and yeah. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you have a great week. If you want more of my stuff, check out some more of my podcasts up on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. It's the Reinvent Your Reality Podcast. Check out my YouTube channel while you're at it. It's youtube.com/Jen Palko. A lot of cool stuff on there. A lot of cool videos. I've recently put up some shorts, YouTube shorts, which I wasn't going to do because I was so anti YouTube short, because it's like TikTok to me, and I hate TikTok, and I'm just like, I don't want to feed into the hyperactive ADD culture, and I was so against it. And I was bored one night, got out my phone, made a short. Took me like less than 5 minutes. I was like, this is so easy. And I was like, oh, that was kind of fun. And then I made like 10 more. So I'm a hypocrite. I'm a walking anomaly. I'm a walking irony as well. So, hey, at least I admit it. Okay. But if you want, you could check some of those out as well. And other than that, have a great week. I will talk to you on the next podcast. Thanks for listening, and peace out.